thank you so much. We're really excited and appreciate you joining us for the final Poetry in the Park reading of this season. So it's appropriately chilly, and we're really excited to welcome Antonio Vargas-Nieto, Francesca Kritikos, Chelsea Tadeyeske, and Mark Leidner. And I'm Mike Wendt. I'm the program director at Woodland Pattern in River West, and we have the great pleasure of organizing and hosting this series. Before I get too deep into this, I'd like to begin by saying that we at Woodland Pattern acknowledge that in Milwaukee we live and work on traditional Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee homelands along the southwest shores of Michigami, part of North America's largest system of freshwater lakes where the Milwaukee, Menominee, and Kinnickinnick rivers meet, and the people of Wisconsin's sovereign Anishinaabe, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Oneida, and Mohican nations remain present. We further acknowledge the grave evil colonialism introduced to these lands through genocide as well as slavery, but also via racist and xenophobic beliefs, laws, and practices that continue to inflict harm upon Black, Brown, and Indigenous lives. We honor those who have lived and do live now at these intersections of identity and experience and are committed to the active dismantling of white supremacy. Many thanks once again. We're rolling. Many thanks once again for joining us. This season's events have been made possible in part from generous support from Juneau Park Friends, the National Endowment for the Arts, and Village Church. So thank you so much to all of you for your support. And speaking of the Juneau Park Friends, who have this table over here with sandwiches and wine and great company, most importantly, I'm going to welcome Tim Patterson, who's with the board of the Juneau Park Friends, to say a few words.
I definitely don't need applause, but thank you. So hi everyone, thanks for coming out. Tim Patterson, I'm on the board of Juneau Park Friends. I have several other esteemed board members with me. I won't belabor the point too much, but just want to spend 30 seconds talking a little bit about Juneau Park. So Juneau Park Friends, we're a nonprofit organization staffed by essentially all volunteer board members. Our goal is essentially to raise funds and help coordinate for the continued maintenance of Juneau Park, whether it be through recurring expenses like landscaping or more optimistic projects like the rehabilitation of statues, or what's on our radar right now, which is working with another nonprofit here in Milwaukee called the Ability Center to help make Juneau Park more accessible to individuals who are not necessarily able-bodied, whether that be through improving paths or making the park more enjoyable for people with either auditory or visual impairments. We have an annual giving campaign that we solicit donations for. We take that money and we try to improve the park. We would love it, obviously, for anyone who wishes to be so generous as to donate monetarily to do so. But maybe more importantly, if you're just interested in volunteering your time to help us enact some of these plans and keep moving this park toward, I think, what we all think is the best and most unique park in the county, and continuing to improve it. And one last thing I will say is I'm sure you have all read recently, at least in the last few years, that the county, from a budget perspective, the parks are really suffering. And so friends groups like Juneau Park Friends, or really any friends group of a park in your community or where you live, we have become sort of the primary driver of change in the park, or just continued maintenance of the park. And so your support would be very well received on our end. We have information and refreshments at the table. We would love to talk to you about it after the main event, which is the wonderful poets that are here today. So thanks for your time, everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to stop over, and have a good rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim, and thanks to everybody with Juneau Park Friends. Dang, all right. It's a party out there. Anyway, thank you all for being here and, of course, for the support. Okay, there they go. They might come back, I don't know, but right now, I think you can hear me. So I would invite you, I've got a few announcements. One is I invite you to visit our book table where we have books by poets reading this evening. So I hope you will do that after the reading. It's probably less disruptive. And come see us at Woodland Pattern too over in River West. And then, of course, this is the last reading of this season of Poetry in the Park, but we have a lot of fantastic events coming up at Woodland Pattern, and a couple of those that I want to mention. So this Sunday at 2 p.m., September 17th, we'll welcome Chuck Stebleton and Kate Colby for a reading at Woodland Pattern, 2 p.m. Sunday. Get there. And then also don't forget about our open mic, Resigned Return, which takes place the last Friday of each month. And the next last Friday is September 29th at 7 p.m. So I hope to see you all there. And then finally, I do want to mention October 1st, we are opening up registration for what will be another virtual poetry marathon. So those of you who have participated in the past and would like to do so again, or those of you who don't even know what I'm talking about, but think it sounds intriguing. Poetry marathon, what's that? Ask us, find us online. But yeah, October 1st, we're opening the registration to sign up to take part. It's a 2-day online event. Hundreds of poets, artists, filmmakers, musicians sharing their work, and then we broadcast that over 2 days at the end of January when we all just want to be inside. Anyways, so works out. All right, that is plenty from me. Now it's my great pleasure first to welcome Antonio Vargas-Nieto, who is a Mexican-born writer and emulsion enthusiast. He is a 2022-23 Poetry Coalition Fellow and has been featured in Moody the Zine and Silver Operation. He believes poetry can exist outside of dusty books and beyond a glowing screen. Antonio is based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and also it's a great pleasure to be working with Antonio at Woodland Pattern and to welcome him now. Antonio, welcome.
Hello, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for Woodland Pattern for letting me read and curate not only some of Poetry in the Park, but most of this reading as well. So, I'll just jump right in. Ode. But how quickly some doors swing open while others remain shut must be the wind. You are not a psychologist, but everyone is too afraid to tell you so. Must be nice having all the answers, seeing through everyone. My mind moves to transparencies, projectors, classrooms, clouds of chalk, Mandy Moore's candy playing on the bus ride home, saccharine, viscous melodies, but also chemical heat sensations from licking my hot Cheeto-stained fingers clean, then looking at the valleys in my fingerprints and thinking, is this what makes me unique? I'm thinking of moments when grade school best friends would betray me before my own eyes, seeing the reading rug pulled from under me. In adulthood, it happens still. One of my most vulnerable moments was in an expo center turned maze in downtown Milwaukee, filling out paperwork for my second COVID vaccine. You and my best friend were ahead of me, and you hurriedly filled your paperwork and without saying a word, you sprinted to the line. I saw you get up and everything disappeared. The carpet, the walls, the words, there was only the void ever expanding between you and me. My inner flame faded, only a wisp of smoke and charred wick remained. It's probably me, honestly. Every time I get it, I'm weird and quiet until I'm not. Often confused for smart, definitely sensitive. I don't trust my brain enough to do mental math, but I plot, juggle words, set the table. This spring, I won't wait for someone to bring me flowers. Ode. Whenever I write your name, It spells out ocean. If not for blind luck, how else would I see you? I belong to nature too. My bones crack and the wind howls. I am living proof that the universe expands as my fingernails grow. Untitled Shoddy. Carnations in fleshy vessel. Subtle body, visible. Phosphorescent, floral scent. I have 5 poems here in a small series that Chuck helped me put together through Ben Terstis's editions. These can be found at the table. Different day, same headache. I have this dream where my apartment feels unrecognizable. The front door deadbolt won't die, while Don't Dream It's Over murmurs on loop through the floorboards. And I remember my cat is locked in the basement, but my knees ache from climbing hundreds of flights of stairs. And every shoe I've ever owned carpets the floor of my second American childhood home. What do you think this means? Later that day, I woke up and had this dream, and then I found out I had COVID that day. So if you have this dream, it's probably that you have COVID. 24 hours. Summer storm, thunder. Room temperature, leftover pizza, chaotic toppings, don't overthink it. Bikes cruise by, I'm walking around, searching for meaning after my inferno shift. Did you get any sleep? No, not really. How do you feel? I feel pretty good. Even my flowers have flowers. Bedside siren, everything else was practice leading up to you. 9% battery. I would rather charge myself to a decent life, last the day, than worry about my phone. I feel the peach nectarine Red Bull crystallize my blood. What isn't easy will become so. Am I Saint Sebastian? A rain of arrows hits my heart, but it doesn't hurt. No pressure from the atmosphere. Things, planets are moving quickly, feeling like walking on air, or that there is no air, or that I am air. Your hands aren't shaky, no. The universe pulses through them. You're its breath. Checking the weather app, checking the weather app. No signs of you. Elephant ears in bloom. I look for answers in every book, on every shelf. When I say don't sweat it, I mean I want sweat glands to close. Not forever. We don't believe in permanence. We only believe in right now. When thoughts linger on how wet you get, I start to believe crazy things. Like, yeah, the Genesis flood could happen, or that we met when the Dead Sea still breathed. Young stellar objects. Horoscopes converge. My gravity, bending light, bending you. Phosphate sugars, warm your backbones. There's grave comfort in knowing we too will be ancient. Crab Nebula. In a magnified field, I am purple, pensive in sincere warmth, widening, pensive animal warmth, widening, leaving behind processions and constellations, reaching for constellations in corneas. It comes in waves, fossilized surfaces. It comes in waves, ossified bouquets. Barbed wire baroque pops my eardrums. Feather gust ruptures my storm window, rolling thoughts into thunder, unfolding thoughts from thunder, passing away, pulsar breathing through the lens. Hypno sway, slow breath passing away into my living purple dust cluster. Ode. To want, to grow careful, grow care empty, to look karma in the eye, to tongue my mother language, to drink milk from cupped hand, to live like a hermit crab in another's miracle. Ode. Celine, will you translate the fall? Moons, planets, anomalies, dead skin cells mix with what we exhale. Two molecules from opposite sides of the primordial proverbial tracks, finding one another in the same Orphic error. Reenacted for centuries, objects formed by carbon dust gravitation, occurring constantly. I am the culmination of 5 billion years. Earth, the unadorned green thing. I find separation endearing. I can see the Pleiades in your birthmark, like variance. Every movement made with hermetic swiftness, good omens come in pairs, and you are a Gemini. Admiration turned affection. It's not my fault I put the future before the present. Light, when bright enough, pierces through anything. No, thank you. My life is already littered with pointless mementos. Earth is so loyal for only having one moon, a relic of a bygone era. In computer years, I'm 9,999 years old, an atlas of excess, tidally locked to mirrors, cycling through lives like water droplets, flood, freeze, thaw, things, you in unrest. The sun, a pendulum rhythmic wound stain. My cosmic kin thrive in clouds of sulfur. Putrefaction is just another step. Shake off the fear of uncreation. I amalgamate with Mercury. Grounded. Docile as a bull grazing, displaying a kindness of breeze. Think space as shape. The algorithm of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I like to think my mass descended neatly, atom by atom, down the DNA silver helix, twinkle through open window weather, going through the motions again, going through the motions again. Like brave moonless Mercury, I choose indecision. Okay, last one. Salty. I reach for the box of diamond crystal salt, and out comes pouring millions of grains of meat Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antonio. That was great, and a treat to be able to hear you read. Yeah, and it's another one. I did forget to mention, as you brought up, right, that you were instrumental in organizing the whole series, but in particular this reading, and did so in celebration of Virgos and near Virgos. So worth mentioning, and also that and this evening is Chelsea's birthday, so happy birthday, Chelsea. But everybody reading has a birthday coming up pretty soon too, so wish them all a happy birthday, a collective happy birthday, but in particular Chelsea. All right. Next up, it's a great pleasure to welcome Francesca Kritikos, who is the editor-in-chief of the journal and SARKA, and the author of the books In the Bed of Sickness, Exercise and Desire, and Animals Don't Go to Hell. Her next book, Sweet, Bloody, Salty, Clean, will be published by Feral Dove later in 2023. That's now, pretty much. And she was born and raised in Chicago, and so delighted to welcome you this evening. Welcome, Francesca.
I'm a little short. Hi, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you to Antonio and Woodland Pattern for inviting me. I couldn't have picked a better group to read with, not just because we're all Virgos or Virgo cusps, but yeah, really excited for the rest of the readings tonight too. And I'm gonna be reading from Sweet, Bloody, Salty, Clean, which actually was published this month by Feral Dove, but I also wanted to thank Chelsea and Pitymilk Press for including a selection of these poems in my chapbook In the Bed of Sickness. It was amazing to work with Pitymilk, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Steel chains for baby. Steel chains for baby elephants, he told me. Then once it learns it won't get free, twine is all a body needs. In bed, I wait for him to bring me 3 red grapes on a plate and fall asleep. Poem for my Redeemer. Until the day breaks and the shadows flee, I know that my Redeemer waiteth. In the dark, tongue curled around my body like a girl's body. An embrace is also a reflex, is also a trap. When the stones start to fly, his palms will be empty. This is a prayer. Restriction is a virtue. The first rat to get cancer from Diet Coke. I eat ingredients, not meals. Wear my dresses to sleep. I wash my own feet now. Waist through July, on my back, miss your eyes. I don't kneel. I wake up with 2 new scratches for each one starting to heal. A message from far away about changes to my credit score. Will the payment go through today? You know I only value austerity because I value consistency. It's my choice to bleed onto white sheets. Do I taste the same as I did last year? I keep my fruit cold, postponing the loss of money to maintain liquidity, delay decay. No, I don't kneel to nature or pleasure, only simplicity. So if I put up a fight, try again. Dinner. Boiled potato, cold and undercooked, with some lettuce. I was petulant. Later, I understood it was all I had. Took one bite, ate it slow, then fast. Paradise. No one else but you has ever called me a good investment. Bought me 00 short shorts, crop tops, drinks, set on fire everything I want. We have all the same diseases. We all have the same disease. You ask me where I want it. I tell you, here is the place where hunger once reigned. The plague. Who's to say what destroyed my life? Everything is a symptom of something else. Incestuous children of an impotent father. I learned too late how quick rot spreads. Some organisms are designed to make themselves so soft, they become a threat to themselves. To be honest, a man has never asked anything of me, though the meaning shifts as the emphasis does. I too have been enormously selfish. On my hungriest days, I'll throw everything in the trash. Something is starving the rabbits in this city. I've heard their bones loudening through thin fur. Every night walking home, I see them slowly disappear. I can taste our plague in the air. The human state of terror. The verb use in Greek is 5 times as long as it is in English. Consider what has been designed to be optimally exploited. They say when you buy Nikes, you're buying more than just a sneaker. For animals, where is the line between compulsion and pleasure? You believed happiness was relative and changeable. I knew it had everything to do with satisfaction, which would not be so easily starved. From now on, I'll take vitamins instead of food. If you can't be happy for me, then at least don't leave me alone. The human state of terror in the face of a need you can't meet yourself. All bad things. I buy my pears on credit, bite them where they tear. I watch the blood come out from under my nail, touch up the polish, darker this time. I wear only the clothes of animals larger than me. I let into my bed only animals larger than me. I used to keep my collar gold against my neck. In a language no one can read, all bad things are named after me. Who will take out my IUD? My nails are long and shiny, but too weak to scratch with. Let medicine be thy food. Senokot, melatonin, vegan, omega-3, levothyroxine, probiotic, zinc, vitamin C, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, NyQuil, DayQuil, dark chocolate, sugar-free sprinkles, B12, cough drops, blue spirulina, CalMag Plus, digestive enzymes, ethanol, estradiol, erythritol, protein powder, fennel seed, Bizacadil, 5 mg, USP. Please give it to me rough. Parasite diet. Your body is mine, but I have nothing. Your game has one rule, and only I know it. Your cruelty slips into me like something I want. Your waste is food to someone, don't forget that. Your tactics don't work on me, I say yes to everything. Poem for my keeper. Always my keeper, you've taken to following me upstairs, putting my clothes away when I don't need them anymore. Like God, you see the reason in famine. I do too. The body never so supple, my body never more yours. What do your other women think about when they think about their bodies? Losing is easy, having nothing is harder. Your daughter will take everything left of you, but she doesn't have your dark hair like I do. I come from people who believe. I come from people who believe mirrors are the tools of the devil. And here I am, in the bed of a man who wants only to suck on a collarbone. I hate mothers and I love my body. The woman sitting next to me was crying. I did not turn to face her. A sign reassures me that in the future I can look like me, only with fewer lines. I love mothers and I hate my body. No brand, no loyalty. I go to CVS and Walgreens interchangeably. I hate mothers and I hate my body. Like all the Greeks. Like all the Greeks, I like to have my shoulders out, my fabrics torn and hanging. The body nothing but a prop. Push me around a little. Watch how my bones stay. In the city, dark like something crushed. All the men surrounding me are cowards. I can tell by the way I ask them to leave, and they refuse to fight. Nothing alive is clean. Nothing alive is clean. I wish that wasn't the truth. I'm on my knees in my dreams, like my mother and my mother's mother, scrubbing tile floors. My tastes are beige, but I'm wearing that neon pink bra, the one you gave me right before you came all over it. Poem for my shepherd. My shepherd, those who come before us are only our teachers if we let them. I wanted to tell you, my shepherd, how it is possible not to feel anything for a while, but you already knew. How is it possible, my shepherd? Every year I make less money. Have you eaten your eggs today, my shepherd, your meat? There have been other men, shepherd, but none whom I regret not having spent his life with more than you, who taught me for what my body is a sleeve. This last poem I'll read is called Intake Form at the Spray Tan Office. How long would it take you to find $35 worth of products you want? Can you freeze bananas in their wrappers, I mean skins? I can't afford some of the things I want, and I call it having morals. I can't afford some of the things I don't want, and I call it having morals. The dress looks good on me the way everything does. You look good on me the way everyone does. The opposite is also true. There's a lesson in celibacy if you're someone like me. After eating, my dog takes the blanket between his teeth and growls. Is it violence that's missing? I can tell when I'm full, but I can't tell if I like what's filling me. I can tell when I'm empty, and I don't have to decide whether I like it or not. The period of time between my nails being too short and too long is not discernible. 4 days for a scab to heal. Who decides how much of an ingredient makes a meal? If you hate what you eat, you'll grow to love it. The opposite is also true. There's a lesson in celibacy if you're someone who craves things because they crave you. I don't trust anything that returns to where it came from. What other animals sleep next to mirrors, watch their parents grow old? Violence hides best within familiarity, flesh gripping flesh, bleached into deli meat, leather purse, nylon, food for the bugs. Bites on my legs, gifts I get to open later. I get to open my mouth later. Tonight I stained my white dress. Tonight was an event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Francesca. It was great. And now I'm happy to welcome Chelsea Tadeyeske, who lives, works, and plays in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where she co-edits Pitymilk Press, and curates poetry readings in her apartment, the Bell Tower. She's the author of several chapbooks, including If You Bend It Backwards, Nothing Really Happens, Princess Diana, The Floor of a Cage Floating Above the Floor of a House, and Island Weather. She is a Virgo sun, Libra rising, and Aquarius moon born in the year of the snake, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Chelsea Tadeyeske.
Wow. Hello. I'm very thankful to be here. Very thankful to Woodland Pattern, to Francesca and Mark and Antonio, who had this very wacky idea of getting Virgos together in front of a microphone in a park during Virgo season. Nuts. Thank you. The moth flying at you is also scared. Sometimes you can't confess things to yourself, so you see a therapist. Sometimes you can't confess things to your therapist, so you become a spore print of grief. Do you think that plants can tell the difference between tap water and rain? Somehow, this matters to me deeply. Maybe I should see a therapist. Whenever I would beg my mom to not go to the babysitter, she would squeeze my hand like 3 times before letting it go. Actually, The chair I hid behind at my babysitter's house was less of a burgundy and more like a salmon. And I'm romanticizing walking into the woods with you with the sole purpose of living out our lives and ending our respective bloodlines. There's dried bleach on the magazines next to my parents' toilet. It's warping Reese Witherspoon's smile. There's a medication that helps you remember that birds still exist when they aren't gathered around all the trash in the street. Thought dripping. Another one of my structures has fallen to pieces. And I wanna walk to the flower boxes with the sun-bleached fabric flowers, you know, to feel the way that one feels when they look at sun-bleached fabric flowers. The sky is gray sometimes, but octopus blood is blue always. When someone told me that they populate man-made lakes with fish by throwing them off of a plane, I laughed. It sounds like a kid made it up, but it's true. They throw them off the side and they flop over and they fall and they fall. Oh wait, they don't have arms. They fall and fall and they fall and they fall and they land in something that a man made and survive. The shortest war lasted 38 minutes. And me, I am built out of thousands of my mom's spaghetti dinners. And it's kind of funny. I don't crave it at all. Funny, but make it sad. That one time I gave an instructional speech on how to swing a baseball bat. That one time I looked up Florida man plus my birth date and it said Florida man shot dead after asking if bulletproof vest still worked. That one time your lips left an impression on the spoon, so I licked it when you weren't looking. That one time I believed you could cut something up over and over and over and over again to make more of it into infinity. That one time the lady on TV ate her husband's ashes, then the look on her face when she realized she'd eventually run out of them. Again. That one time I deciphered a strand of hair was yours and then died a little bit. Love fractal. I wonder if anyone has ever cut my face out of a picture. Hate is so transformative because it can be done in private. And I regret I'm the type of person that forgets to turn the faucet off when I walk to the fridge and doesn't know how many places this country is currently occupying or how many ecosystems have fully collapsed. Why? Why does it feel so good to squelch in the bright red jelly of grief? I read that someone was struck by lightning a total of 12 times. It leaves a scar like a fern frond. Can you imagine ever being loved like that? I feel totally helpless to know the bareness of your back, my little flower head turning toward the sun. Okay, this next one goes out to Annie Grizzle. Where are you? Oh, love, hi. I think you like this poem. Think you said this once or twice maybe, and I'm gonna read it for you. It's called Oblage. Some of my most exhilarating moments are when I allow myself to vomit. And this one time, I was really high, and I recited my entire drive-through order before I realized I was talking into a trash can. I think the way we choose to love each other, I think that's making us really, 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 really sad. Whenever I tell my mom I'm stressed, she tries to give me Xanax or Ativan as if we both aren't addicts. And I hope that someone, someday, counts all the beauty marks on your arms and chest and neck and back. I smashed a spider once. It was just minding its own business. Watched each leg curl up like inward and away from me. Thank you. All right, Antonio. This one's for you. This is called Cuticle. Is there a game you can play where you can still see the world but aren't in it? I used to judge the kids in school that bit their nails and ate them. Maybe I actually wanted my soul to be exposed like that. My life was forever changed when I learned how to wake up my clit out of boredom. And I would like to dry out all of my eggs on mossy ocean rocks while everybody I know watches and gives me flowers. You think the stars actually give a shit? The body is a heavy, worthless coat. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. Thank you. All right, this is the last poem I have. Thank you for listening and for humoring us Virgos this evening, and Virgo cusps. Mark, you're a Libra Virgo cusp, right? Yeah, okay, cool. In the after, I hope I get to be a mountain. Moving plates of rock turned into an upward collision, turned into a pretty subject for a photograph. An embryo turned into a baby, turned into an adult with road rage. If I told you caterpillars melt inside little caskets, would you believe me? The first time I had sex, my hymen didn't break. It hurt much worse when I was fingered. There was once a time when I didn't know me, and it's out there, like, running parallel somewhere. Oh, look, everybody, look. Another plastic bag full of wind. That's all I got. Thank you.
Chelsea, fantastic. Thank you. And closing things out this evening, absolute pleasure to welcome Mark Leidner, whose latest book is the poetry collection Returning the Sword to the Stone. He's the author of several other books of poetry and fiction, as well as the sci-fi feature film Empathy Incorporated. Originally from Georgia, he lives in California and is spending the evening here with us in Milwaukee, being a little bit cold. Welcome, Mark, and thank you for being here.
Unprepared for the weather. But it's really nice. It's like 100 degrees where I was yesterday. Thank you, Chelsea and Francesca and Antonio and Mike, Woodland Pattern, for inviting me. I love Milwaukee. I love the Midwest, but I love Milwaukee the best. This first poem is called Bumper Stickers. I was out in the woods hunting deer when I spotted a deer with one of those coexist bumper stickers stuck on its behind. Unable to shoot, I left the woods in awe of the power of bumper stickers to accomplish what they're meant to accomplish. If only more people would put them on things they're not meant to be put on. Calves. The crisper drawers are the refrigerator's calves. The backsides of tires are the calves of cars. As high as the mist rises, where the water plunges into the pool, is how high the calves of a waterfall are. A campfire's calves are comparatively low, for there it's glowing embers. Why can't we see the Statue of Liberty's calves? Asking a question in a poem is the calves of wanting to know. This is the newest poem, stripped from the headlines of my real life. My son Johnny's here. He's almost 4. I guess that makes him a Libra. Libra. A book. Spanish for book. Anyway. Kids came in at 6. I don't usually write about my real life. That's not the poem, that's just banter. I don't usually write about my real life, so it's sort of a news situation. Kids came in at 6 while I was still in bed, demanding honey and yogurt. I got up and made it. They said they didn't want it. They hated honey. Yogurt was gross. They wanted cereal and blueberries instead. So I made it for them. They said they didn't want it. They wanted toast and peanut butter. So I made it. They began crying, saying they were starving. I was starving them. I asked them what they wanted. Not that, they screamed. Not words, not questions. It's kind of fall-y, so it's already in my mind, it's already Christmas. So this poem, Horse Christmas. We have a horse in the living room this year, and everyone's been taking turns, oohing and awing at the Christmas tree, all lit up and ornamented, reflected in its enormous eye. This is like the last of the newer poems, and then I'm going to read some from this book, Returning the Sword of the Stone. Juice for the Goose. I'm writing a poem about grief, but the title is something irredeemably stupid, like Rich Rats on a Cheddar Yacht, or Juice for the Goose. And the whole poem is just a series of images and jokes that have nothing to do with each other. For example, cucumber-infused toilet water, a ball pit full of false holy grails, the sun-coughed winds that endlessly edit the moon, an opaque hourglass, a piñata full of sea salt, etc. But the shadow of grief hangs over them all, inflecting each with a deeper meaning than you might otherwise expect from a poem of this ilk. V of mechanical geese, Christmas tree branches snapping under the weight of ornaments, a wooden sunrise made by stagehands yanking down on a rope, a lobster tank full of handguns as you enter a pawn shop, a horse wrapped in wallpaper, standing perfectly still in a pasture until a shotgun goes off, a cowboy walking into town with Pinocchio's nose in his holster. Opening day. If they ever really did clone dinosaurs and built a real Jurassic Park, it would be funny if a tiny little asteroid arrived and destroyed only it. Eight things I hate about me. I hate it when I spend my life breeding and training elite sled dogs, only to end up the crusty old villain in some younger musher's story. I hate it when I'm giving an academic talk at my alma mater, and my old mentor is a no-show, causing me to question the value of my scholarship. Arctic blast coming down off the lake, blowing my poems away. Sorry. I hate it when the wind blows my poems away. That wasn't one of them. I hate it when I humiliate a nerd in the lunchroom or the bathroom, only for them to become cool later, humiliating me at a house party or a school dance. I hate it when I'm trying to avoid seeing a dive bar right behind me, just as the last city bus barrels by in the rain, reflecting in its strip of moving windows the dive bar's neon signage. I hate it when I spend my youth decrying the hypocrisies of adults, only to become one who conceives of hypocrisy as the very pinion of consciousness. I hate it when I plant a kiss on each bicep in a dive bar, mocking a dock worker with biceps twice mine in diameter into arm wrestling me, only to be all the more humiliated when I lose. I hate it when I fall off my yacht and the weight of all the mobile gaming consoles in my cargo shorts pockets pins me to the seafloor. This poem is essentially just a series of aphorisms, which is a kind of very, to me, low literary form. And it's like a pithy statement of truth. They're very hard to write, though, because it's hard to make something that sounds true be short. Anyway, I don't know why I had to explain that. Youth is a fugitive that thinks it's a hostage. Hell is an orgy of everyone you know. Heaven an orgy of strangers. Just the faint glimmer of the possibility of love instantly gerrymanders your entire past. An exotic analogy to which no one relates, but to which people wish they related, will always outcirculate an actually apt analogy to which people actually relate. A child surprised that a neon sign isn't hot the first time they touch one knows how it feels as an adult to achieve one's goals. The amount of muffin left stuck to the wrapper when you open it is the percent of your childhood that was the way you remember it. Crime is a dream justice has when it sleeps. Boredom is the cruelest aphrodisiac. All you need is love to have a home in every moment. And all you need is poetry to have it be a mansion. Desire rudders a ghost ship. Believing in God is like believing in an endless stream of letters following Z. Loving anything more than yourself is like a misquote that clears you of plagiarism. Cowardice is the fear of suffering, courage the fear of wrongdoing. Nothing is purer than gratitude, and because it's so pure, it's the first thing to blow away when the wind blows. Anything is possible, but everything is too expensive. History is stranger than truth or fiction. The eyes are teeth that see. Grace is a diaper you never have to change. Mourning, a more convincing dream. Life is long for a brief time, then brief for a long time. The problem with irony is that it's too soothing. It suggests a pattern to tragedy and therefore mitigates the terror that tragedy is random. Were tragedy patternless, we'd be meaningless. And all the ironies of literature are a dam against this despair. I read two more The last one from this book is a list of spoonerisms, another even lower form than aphorism, where the like a spoonerism of Wisconsin would be Kiss Wanson, which doesn't make any literal sense, but it's you reverse the consonant sounds in two words or whatever. Spoonerisms. This poem is long, so I may bail on it halfway through, but it doesn't really matter. You just go on forever. I'll try to pick a good stopping point so you won't know if it's the real end of the poem or not. Let's dance, debt's lance, bent to me, meant to be, love of treasure, trove of leisure, death of retail, wreath of detail, hustled a mystery, muscled a history, found a buyer, bound a fire, car wash, war cash, pays dues, days, pews, scattered showers, shattered scours, debt bubble, bet double, party on, hardy pawn, tragic mopes, magic tropes, ballads of sadness, salads of badness, various cultures carry us vultures, near and far, fear and noir, crackles and grows, grackles and crows, eat the flowers, fleet the hours, boring the meetings, mooring the beatings, looted and burned, booted and learned, popcorn, cop porn, amuse without bite, abuse without might, random tongues, tandem rungs, a platter of latitudes, a ladder of platitudes, the ways of mind, the maze of wind, a massive past, a passive mast, the iconic law, the laconic awe of golden ages, of olden gauges, of glamorous cliffs, of clamorous glyphs, acute stupidity, astute cupidity, sung us in the fauna, fungus in the sauna, lakes moving, makes loving, license, silence. No more, no less, no lore, no mess. Fuck labels, luck, fables, habit, roles, rabbit holes, good marriages, mood garages. The rest is naked, the nest is raked, the worst of birds, the burst of words. Lots to pick from, pots to lick from, a lottery for posers, a pottery for losers, reading the news, needing the ruse, the whole of rumor, the roll of humor, scary prisms, prairie schisms. Buffering is seeing, suffering is being, at fashion's pace, at passion's face, the nature of storms, the stature of norms. Weird how stealth steered how wealth harried the bidden, buried the hidden, deeper by the chosen, cheaper by the dozen, verses howled, hearses voweled, bland with fame, fanned with blame, a nailable vow, available now, shop, dine, fly, flop, shine, die, stamped under cars, camped under stars, the roof of the prison, the proof of the risen, brought to sing, sought to bring, song but rain, wrong but sane, brought to sake, sought to break, hung from a limb, lung from a hymn, din wowing, windowing, numinous light, luminous night, clear as day, dear as clay, to every road, to reverie ode, a psalm to come, a calm to some. Last poem, thank you very much for listening and chilling out. This poem is somewhat short, but it's a similar version as the last. It's a list. I can't think of a good title for it. It's like name song. I tried to like canticum nominum. Didn't. That's terrible. But I need something that briefly and clearly conveys the conceit, but doesn't demystify the conceit. It's very difficult. If you have any ideas, hit me up. Just a list of names. Al Michaels, Michael Mann, Man Ray, Sun Ra, Warren Moon, Ken Starr, Keira Knightley, Carson Daly, Rainn Wilson, Tony Snow, Scott McCloud, River Phoenix, Russell Crowe, Minnie Driver, Ryder Strong, Maxine Waters, Ocean Vong, Veronica Lake, Eartha Kitt, Venus Williams, Bruno Mars, Sharon Stone, Lauryn Hill, Chris Rock, Randy Moss, Gunter Grass, Shannon Sharp, Emily Blunt, Philip Glass, William Hurt, Alexander Payne, Steve Young, Olivia Wilde, Sharon Olds, Julia Child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. That was real great. What a wonderful way to close things out. Thanks once more. So thank you, Mark. Thank once more to Antonio, to Francesca, to Chelsea, to all of you for joining us. I hope to see you out here next year and at Woodland Pattern. In the meantime, have a good night. Bye.